Hello, my name is Tony Berard. Um, Today's video, I'm going to talk about the block transition tournament. I'm still waiting for my dice chest to come. that's that's the video I really want to do, but gotta wait for that. So, in the meantime, I have to take care of some clerical issues. I don't just invent games. I also developed a rating system. I've written a math book. It took me 10 years to write that math book. It's called Points, Lines, and Conic Sections, a sequel to college algebra. And it's on Amazon, 15 bucks, $14.95, something like that. And it's a really nice book. It'll be a new addition to the college curriculum one day. Hopefully before I die. Anyway, I've had two of my books on Amazon for years, and there's no promotion of the work. And actually, there's Amazon works against an author, but I'm not here to grind my axe or to sharpen it or whatever. I want to talk about the block transition tournament. So, to that end, let me kind of go along with what I was saying a moment ago. I don't just invent the board games and the card games. I developed this rating system. And I also developed a new type of tournament design. It's called the Block Transition Tournament. Historically, chess tournaments have been run generally as a Swiss or as a round robin. And that's it. St. Petersburg, 1895. Emanuel Lasker, Harry Nelson Pillsbury, the Russian guy. Can't think of his name. Mikhail. Got Mikhail. It's great getting old. And one other guy. Oh, Siegbert Tarrasch. Yeah, Mikhail something. He scored second at the Hastings 1895 behind Harry Nelson Pillsbury. Anyway, this is what you get when you fly by the seat of your pants, which is what I do all the time. All right, Mikhail something. He was the strongest chess player in Russia for a couple of decades, I think. Can't think of his name though, last name. Anyway, those four were in the St. Petersburg 1895 tournament, and it was won by Emanuel Lasker. Harry Nelson Pillsbury was leading after the first half, but he collapsed, probably due to syphilis, they said. He had contracted syphilis. Anyway, he didn't live too many years after that. I think about 11 years maybe. 1906, I think, is when I read he died. So, but that was a round robin, and they went around 6 times. So everybody played everybody 6 times. And other tournaments, sometimes they'll do a double round robin, sometimes FIDE or FIDE, depending on how you say it. They will run a candidates tournament, and they'll do a double round robin. During the first round, whatever colors you had against your opponents, you'll get the opposite color the second time around. That way, everybody plays everybody twice. Once is white and once is black. How could anything be less fair than that? Even an unfair game like chess would be rendered fair. So, and then there's Swiss tournaments. Swiss tournaments, well, there's another kind of tournament too, knockout. I've forgotten about that. Swiss tournaments are, they pit 2 people together who have very similar scores. And so Like if one guy's got a score of 6.5, another guy's got a score of 6, and everybody else is paired up, they'll put those two together. The idea being that if one wins and one loses, that will create some separation between those two players that were equal before. Of course, if two other people were similarly equal and they played, one won, one lost, you've still got two people who are close together. Well, I guess you don't have 4 people, but depending on how many people are in the tournament, they could trade off, and you could still have a big group of people, But anyway, the idea is supposed to be to get some separation between the players. And if you continue to win, then you'll begin to face stronger and stronger opposition. That happened in Rome, 1989. Sofia Polgar, she won her first several rounds, and then she began to get paired against grandmasters. And I can't remember if it was 8 or 9 round tournament, but she went undefeated. She might have even routed. I don't remember if she routed, but her performance rating was pretty high. And that was a pretty amazing tournament. I think I measured her G score as higher than anything Judith Polgar had ever done, and I had written about that before. But Judith Polgar is widely considered the strongest of the Polgar sisters. There's Sophia, Susan, and Judith. Anyway, I ramble, but it's for a purpose. So then, and the other kind of tournament is a knockout style tournament. Morphy won a knockout style tournament in 1865. I don't know, way, way, way back in the day. It was the first Continental Chess Congress is what it was called, and Morphy won it. So that was a knockout style tournament. Sometimes the strongest players don't win the knockout tournaments. Knockout style tournaments are bad because it doesn't allow the players to play at their true ratings. There's usually little individual games or short matches, and the stronger player can lose a short match of 2 games or 4 games. It doesn't mean the stronger player is demonstrably weak after that 4-game match. No, that's just sometimes that can happen. And when you have a whole bunch of these interactions in a tournament, you can have a guy that's fairly, not too strong considered in the world, but a guy like that can win. And that happens in the women's side all the time because they have knockout style tournaments all the time. And it's unfortunate that they keep doing that. At the Tines and Barbs Corporation, we will not do that. Knockout style tournaments are bad. They don't allow you to play at your true strength. I suppose it's good for the public appetite, where they want to see people knocked out or whatever of a tournament, and then interview them afterwards. But it's not good for the rating system either, because these people get unnecessarily punished. It's just not a good way to do it. Matches and tournaments where the players stay in and continue to play is better. So, all right. Well, having said all of that, is there a solution? Okay. There's one other problem with the round robin tournament, and that is if there's 2 players who are dominating the event, they might not play each other. They might have played each other in the first round or third round or something, and then you kind of get into these scenarios. Well, this one's playing these 3, and that one's playing those 3 for the final 3 rounds, and who has the easier path and all that. It's just silly. So it'd be nice if we had a tournament where the top 2 players meet up in the final round, or even in the final 3 rounds. If such a thing could be pulled off, that would be great, because now the top 2 performers are meeting up to play for all the marbles at the end. That's where the climax should be. And my new tournament design accomplishes that. So, with that said, this is the block transition tournament. I guess I took the long way around to introduce this. The table's been decorated here with Christmas stuff, so I'll just deal with it. All right, so the block transition tournament. Suppose we have 12 people in our tournament. So, and what we do with a block transition tournament is we put the people into blocks, hence the name block. So these are some blocks. I'm going to have 3 blocks. And in each block you put a person. And there's 2 types of seatings. So I'll write this. 2 seatings. You can have what we call the even distribution seating. Even distribution. And you can have the power. Well, I might have called it something else in my paper, but that's what's coming to my brain right now. Power. The power. Oh, anyway. That'll come to me too. Probably think of the Russian guy's name while I'm giving this presentation also. All right, so we evenly distribute this. So initially you rank the guys before the tournament, 1 through 12, by rating. Number 1 will get placed here, number 2, number 3. Then number 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. I'm showing blocks. You can have blocks of any number of sides of a polygon. A polygon with 3 sides is called a triangle. A polygon with 4 sides is called a square or a rectangle. A polygon with 5 sides is called a pentagon. Any number of sides of a polygon will work. 6 sides is a hexagon. For simplicity purposes, the idea can work fine with blocks of 4 sides. So I'm illustrating this video with squares, but any size polygon will work. All right, and so what happens now is in the first round, I have to say one other thing. It's called the path of least resistance. Do I have enough room? Resistance. There, E. So the primary player gets this path of least resistance. Primary player, P-L-A-Y-E-R. In any block, the person in the upper left corner is designated as the primary player. The other players are not primary players. So number 2 here is the primary player in block 2. Number 3 here is the primary player in block 3. The idea is the primary player would like to hold his position in the blocks, at least, or improve as the tournament goes along. And so 1, 2, and 3, if they hold their positions, they won't play each other until the end when we do the other type of seeding. Until that point, 1, 2, and 3 won't play each other if they hold their position in their blocks. If they can maintain their position as the primary player. All right, and so the path of least resistance gets applied to the primary player. And so in the first round of the block, in each block, they're going to play a round robin. And so everybody will play everybody one time. Everybody here will play everybody one time. Everybody here will play everybody one time. In the same order. So in the first round, number 1 will play number 10. Number 2 will play number 11. And number 3 will play number 12. And also in the first round, number 4 will play number 7. Number 5 will play number 8. And number 6 will play number 9. So this is round 1. So let's put that round 1. So round 2, so 1, 4, 10, 7, 2, 8, 5, 11, 3, 9, 6, 12. So in the first round, 1 played 10. The next easier opponent would be number 7. So 1 will play 7 in round 2, and number 4 will play number 10. 2 will play 8, 5 will play 11, 3 will play 9, 6 will play 12. And in round 3, one, 7, 4, 10, 2, 8, 5, 11, 3, 9, 6, 12. In the third round, the path of least resistance, it will give the primary player the strongest opponent in that block. So 1 will play 4, and 7 will play 10. 2 will play 5, 8 will play 11. 3 will play 6, and 9 will play 12. And then, after that, we re-rank the players, because now that's called a phase, okay? When they complete the round robin in the block, that's called a phase. And after the phase is over with, we re-rank the players. I have some metrics that I've developed within my rating system. One of them is called the P0 score. And so we rank by points. P0 score. G score, and then previous seniority. I guess that's it. So I have 2 measurements within my rating system called the P0 score and the G score. And the P0 score is the first criterion from my rating system to get used. So the first criterion really is the points. Then people that are tied on points, the ties get broken by the P0 score. In the early rounds, the P0 score won't be differentiated enough. And probably the G score won't be either. But if they are, they can separate it. And if there's not a resolution at that level, then we go to the previous seniority, which would be their initial ranking. All right. So we get a new list, 1 through 12, and we rerun the tournament again. And so number 1 may not be the previous number 1. There might be a new number 1 based on the new ranking. And we go through as many phases as was predetermined at the beginning of the tournament by the tournament organizers. And so I'll just put ... At the last phase, we have what we call the power, even distribution, the power. I guess I'm going to call it the power distribution, or distribution by power. And so that's going to look like this. We're only going to have 1 round of this, so I only need 1 set of blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And the path of least resistance gets applied again. So the first round, I guess I do need 3 sets of blocks. So the first round, 1 will play 4, 5 will play 8, 9 will play 12, 2 plays 3, 6 plays 7, and 10 plays 11. So this is round 1 of the final phase. This will be round 2 of the final phase. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. In round 2, 1 played 4 last time, so 1's going to play 3 this time, the next harder opponent. That would mean that 2 plays 4, 5 plays 7, 6 plays 8, 9 plays 11, and 10 plays 12. And then the final round of the phase, which would be the final round of the tournament, the path of least resistance would give 1 would play 2, and 3 would play 4. And here's where all the marbles are played for. 1 finally gets to play 2, the top performer, the top 2 performers. And let's see, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 5 would play 6, 7 would play 8, 9 would play 10, and 11 would play 12. And then we have one final re-ranking to see who won the tournament. And so, yeah, that's the power distribution method. Yeah, still can't think of the Russian guy's name. Getting old is great. Anyway, so that's one version of the block transition tournament. I guess I'll have to do another video on it later, because you can run the block transition tournament with different size blocks, and that can create some interesting scenarios. In odd numbered of size, if you use polygons of odd size like triangles, that's 3 sides. There's 2 people in the triangle that can get paired up, but then what do you do with the third one? Well, it gets paired up with somebody who's not paired up in another triangle. And so that's called a cross-block game. And different size blocks can move between phases. Those are called migrating blocks. And so this can get really, really deep. But, you know, the easiest thing going is what I just showed you. That's, you know, I guess your plain vanilla block transition tournament. And so, but I showed you at least how the top 2 players can meet up in the final round. It's a pretty cool thing. And so, and you don't know who the top 2 performers are going to be. By the time the end of the tournament gets there, it might be 2 people you didn't think. It's been my experience that if you have a bunch of elite players and they're all less than 100 points difference in rating, it's anybody's ball game. I have a thing called the choke test in my rating system, and it can tell you if the top rated player choked or not. In other words, did he perform according to expectations or not? If the players are too tightly clustered together via rating, then the choke test will say no, he didn't choke. But if there's a pretty good dispersion in the ratings, then yes, the top rated player should rise above that. There's enough difference in the rating to where the rating should be able to tell you who is better. And that's what the choke test measures. And so, so if you have a bunch of tightly clustered players, number 1 may not be who you would think, and number 2 may not be who you would think. But if there is a dispersion in the ratings in the tournament, then it probably will be who you think. Probably the top 2 rated players will probably be meeting up in the final round. But you still have to play the games to see. You never know going in. Linares, 1994. Gary Kasparov said, "Whoever wins this tournament will be considered the strongest tournament player of all time." And he didn't win the tournament. My rating system actually put him 4th or a third rather. I shouldn't push him down farther than what he was rated at, according to my rating system. Karpov won the tournament with 11 out of 13, but Kasparov and Shirov tied for second. And my rating system said Shirov was slightly better than Kasparov. So, but anyway, so Kasparov did not win that tournament. He obviously expected to. He crowned himself king before the tournament started and didn't win it. They said Karpov heard the remark, and Karpov rose to the occasion and won the tournament handily. All right, that's going to end this video. So I'll have to do another video on the block transition tournament so I can show you some migrating blocks and some cross-block games. And also attrition. You can run a block transition tournament with attrition by knocking off lower blocks. So there's a lot of plasticity possible with the block transition tournament. So this is going to bring a new level of competition to international gaming. And you're welcome. This is Tony Berard signing off.